Sebastian, your art teacher. I'm so excited you're going to be with me today, and I have some awesome first projects for us to do in the art class. Before we get started on that, let me introduce to you my little buddy. This is Shishi. He's my Japanese chin. Mwah. I love him so much, and he loves me too. In fact, that's a great thing about dogs in general and pets, is that they just love you unconditionally. And when we're talking about art, art has many reasons to make it. Sometimes it's to express ourselves. Sometimes it's to try new things and expand our growth. Today's lessons, I really want to have the focus of optimism. Optimism means having a hopeful outlook on now and the future. And in this sort of world today that we're living in, we need more love and optimism and hope. So hopefully you're going to enjoy these projects we're going to be making. Third, fourth, and fifth are all going to be on pop artists. And pop is really unique in the art movements in that those artists usually use lots of beautiful, bright colors in their artworks, and will usually have a lot of hopeful, optimistic messages too. So we're going to go ahead and get started on those by watching a quick presentation first. This project is going to be for a Square One fundraiser we're doing, where you can take your art and have it made into all sorts of products. Everyone will get a free sticker sheet though. Hip hip hooray. A few do's and don'ts. Try to make your artwork very bright, colorful, communicates your message well. Don't make it too close to the edge. Include your name. And don't break copyright laws. Don't take someone else's art and call it your own and put it in your art. It needs to be all your own artwork. My favorite artist, Keith Haring. He was born in 1958, died in 1990. He was a graffiti artist turned pop artist extraordinaire turned social commentator. I love this self-portrait of him in the bottom right corner too. That's pretty neat. Your objectives are to appreciate the art of Keith Haring, deduce how his art is relevant today, understand his involvement with the pop art movement, define what social commentary means, determine characteristics of his style, create an optimistic artwork inspired by the Keith Haring style. Pop art. That is an art movement that emerged in the 50s and 60s in America and Britain, but it is something that is still going strong today. It may have started there, but it has spread all the way around the world. Basically, pop art means taking popular everyday items and making them art. They were all about keeping art accessible. You don't need to be in a museum or gallery to appreciate all the art around you in the world, as Andy Warhol's soup cans here, and Roy Lichtenstein's comic book panels. Now, these artists would often take these iconic images and they would change them up. So this actually looks a little different than the actual comic book. Maybe the colors are different. The words could be different. The designs, like on the side of the airplane, could even be different. Keith Haring was a pop artist. How did he get to be a pop artist, though? He was born in Pennsylvania, and he really learned to love drawing in a comic style from his father. He grew up, decided he wanted a commercial art degree, went to school in Pennsylvania, in Pittsburgh for about a year, decided, I don't know, went to school then in New York for a while, where he was welcomed by a lot of the pop artists that were already there, including Andy Warhol, that man who made those Campbell soup cans. I think Keith is pretty pleased he gets to pose in the picture with his favorite celebrity here. So here's Andy Warhol's soup can. Here are some that he's changed the colors on to make it more artistic. All right, so for his graffiti period, graffiti means usually making artwork like on the sides of buildings without the permission of the person. But in New York, they had set up all these chalkboards so that artists could get their graffiti bug out and make art there too. Now, of course, if an artist had permission from someone who owned a building, then it would be a commissioned mural that could be paying the artist to create the artwork, or maybe there's just an agreement to make the artwork. This would be seen from a subway train that was going by. Here's a room he was probably commissioned in a gallery to make. Looks like he's doing a lot of outlining first, and then he's going to go back and fill it in with lots of bright, colorful colors. Another iconic pop art element that a lot of artists use were some beautiful, bright colors, bringing that optimism into their art. So here we have a baby. That's right, babies crawl. And we have little lines coming out from it to show that it's special. So what do you think this is then? Chat with your neighbor next to you for about 30 seconds and see if you can figure out what's going on in this picture. If you felt like this was a parent holding up their new baby, maybe even a baby boy because it's blue and he's very proud, maybe he's doing a happy dance, absolutely right. Notice that the background is yellow with a floor that's blue with little polka dots. That's going to be the background, and the foreground is the subject, which of course is the parent with their newborn baby. So here we have a lot of dancers, and the way that he's shown movement is these little curved lines on the sides here. So when you want to show movement in your picture, like if you're going to do a dancing, whatever, you can do that too. So I wonder what this is. What could that X mean on his body? Well, sometimes if you see an X, it could be that they've died. So what has a cape and could be undead flying through the sky? Maybe it's a vampire. Here we have a couple kids maybe playing some kickball. Oh my gosh, this is the craziest tug of war I think I've ever seen. Do you think something like this could happen in real life? Just a few more. Oh, look, looks like it's an animal being the DJ. For sure you could do animals. You don't have to do people. You could even do inanimate objects like footballs or food items. So Keith Haring is the social commentator. So he is making statements, and he did over 50 public works, like decorating the inside of children's hospitals and other places like public parks. He would decorate walls that were there. And so he would have a positive, optimistic message usually. So here we have, of course, friendship or love between people, maybe family members. It's so important. Oh my goodness, we all love our freedoms, and there's our Statue of Liberty. Oh my gosh, sometimes I think a parent might feel that children walk all over them. Woo! So, I guess this one's showing that Mickey Mouse is rolling in the dough, or Disney is, my goodness. And it takes all kinds of people to make the world go round. So he actually was one of the first artists to put his artwork on things like t-shirts and water bottles, and he sold quite a bit of them. Today, there are modern artists like Takashi Murakami, who has obviously been influenced by Keith Haring. Even though he's no longer alive today, his influence is felt in many other contemporary artists. So what is his style? Well, if we look at the picture here on the left versus the right, I think you could probably guess which one is the Keith Haring and which isn't. But notice here that the realism is a little different. The colors are different. There's a lot of meaning going on here in Keith's style. This one's actually a Andy Warhol Mickey Mouse artwork, but it too looks different. It's more realistic, has more details, maybe the meaning isn't there like it is in Keith Haring's style. Oh, these are cute fish. I do like them. Maybe a little too much detail to be the Keith Haring style. Ah, well, this is a Keith Haring artwork. It's even signed by him. Okay, your assignment today is going to be to decide on a subject, decide how it will be special or active, plan your design in pencil. We're going to outline it in Sharpie, so don't make anything super small details, or else the Sharpie is going to just make it look like a big black dot. And then we're going to add some color to your artwork. Okay, to get started for our lesson, if you haven't filled out this top portion, please go ahead and do so. And so you're going to put your first name, one letter in each space, and your last name. That happens to be mine. Our school is Holley, Holley, dash, Navarre, Navarre, and then we're going to put intermediate, INTERMEDIATE. You're going to put what grade you're in, 3rd, 4th, or 5th, and your teacher's name. Not my name, that would be your classroom teacher's name. And then we're ready to start drawing. I love the idea of... All right, so the first thing you need to do is you need to think about some subjects that you may want to show in your picture. You probably don't want to get too detailed with this because we are going to be outlining things with Sharpie, and if it's too detailed, you won't be able to outline them very well. I actually have 2 examples here that I've already done. So here I have my dancing disco cupcake character, and then I have my dancing kitty cat. But if you want to just do the standard person, like maybe I'm going to have 2 friends, you know, maybe they're going to be sharing and holding a heart, then and if you're not great at drawing the little gingerbread men, you can start off with a stick figure. Now, if you don't feel confident going into this, flip over your paper to the back and then try just practicing a little bit. So if this is going to be my character, and so I'm just started off real lightly, because if I draw lightly, super easy to go in there and erase. But if I'm going to draw really hard and dark, you don't need to, because we're going to outline them with Sharpie. But when I erase it, it leaves a shadow mark behind. So little tip for you, press lightly as you do this. And then, you know, maybe I'm going to have his little arm kind of come out. And if you want to give your little guy an expression because it's just weird to you not having a smile or eyes or anything, I did that with my kitty cat and my cupcake. I gave them simplified faces. You're welcome to do that. You don't have to though. But you can see here how I'm just kind of doing an outline around the stick figure, and that way I can have that kind of Keith Haring style to people. So I'm going to do 2, and there's going to be a big heart between them. And maybe, you know what, maybe this is going to be a mom and a child. I'm going to make that child here, make it look like he's reaching or she's reaching up to give it to the parent who's taking it. I think that would be really cute. And you know, you can have bent legs. And then we're going to, you know, maybe I don't like how close that is, so I'm going to move it over. I'm going to move that a little bit more like here. And then those arms. There we go. I like that better. And then I'm going to make it so that it has that outline. And because I drew lightly, it's easy to go in and erase the part I don't need anymore. Maybe I don't even need that. Okay, that's not too shabby. And then let's do this one. We're going to keep their hands really simplified too. Maybe we just make them mittens. Yeah, I'm going back and I'm just kind of reassessing what can I do and change this so that it looks more like a proportionate person and it has that Keith Haring style still. So I'm just going in there and just changing a little bit here and there just to make it better. Okay, I think that's not too bad. Let's make that heart. Make sure I got that line just the way I want it. And then I'm going to do a few all right, and then I'm going to add a simple line here at the bottom. If you have a ruler, you can use a ruler to do this line, but I think you can probably do the line pretty good just eyeballing it. I've decided not to put a pattern on here. I just really want to focus in on that heart. So once I feel like this is good, I'm going to go ahead and outline it. All right, so next is going to be coloring. You know, if your favorite color is red, choose maybe what one of your parents' favorite color is. And now you're done and you have have a beautiful masterpiece inspired by Keith Haring on your hands. So I just want to remind you that you cannot break copyright laws for this lesson, but you can't copyright the human form or hearts, those sorts of things, but you couldn't put, let's say, Mickey Mouse in your picture. That is owned by Disney, and believe it or not, whenever somebody sells something like a t-shirt that has Mickey Mouse on it, Mickey Mouse is supposed to be getting a fee for a portion of that money back to them. So for this reason, you can't steal someone else's artwork and put it in your own. I just want to remind you too, don't forget to put your signature, cursive print, first and last name somewhere in your picture.